Hi, it's Filo. In today's video, I'm going to tell you about the books I read in April while setting up those spreads in my reading journal. I filmed this video with my brand new phone, so hopefully you can notice the improvement in the quality of my videos. Last month I read 3 books, and currently I'm still making my way on the biggest book I've ever read. So first I finished the Arc of a Scythe trilogy by Neil Shusterman. I read the first one, which is called Scythe, last year. I link it up here, but just know that I loved it. This trilogy is set in the future. Earth has supposedly become a perfect world where death and unhappiness no longer exist thanks to advances in technology, and now AI is governing the world. In that world, you have mainly 3 groups forming 3 powers. The Scythe, that control the population growth by, well, killing. A benevolent AI called Thunderhead, that governs. And religion, represented by a kind of fork that rings the perfect harmony, and that's the toll. So in the first installment, we followed 2 apprentice scythes. In the second installment, we focus more on the Thunderhead. And in the third one, we add the religious POV. And guys, I loved it so much. The whole trilogy is so smart. It's adventurous, but it's also really philosophical. And there's also a little bit of romance, but don't read it for the romance. It's really not the main plot. I love the way that Shusterman makes you think about very important subjects like life and death, freedom, power, corruption, work, progress, ethics, religion, the human condition in general. The list is very long, but all that in a very entertaining way. And he also plays with myth, references and symbols and allegories, all made very easy to follow and understand. I'm honestly so impressed at how smart it is and well thought and structured. It's YA because there's nothing specifically adult about it, but it's really for everybody. It's very well written, and he doesn't shove any answer down your throat, you know, he really sparks deep reflections in the reader. And it's funny because I thought that maybe Scythe was enough on its own, but I still wanted more, so I read Thunderhead, and it totally hooked me. And I'd say that's where you'll get the most to think about, like Scythe was just a world building next to it, but it really didn't feel like it, you know. Here the stakes go so much higher. He brings huge questions to think about that are again timeless, but he makes it closer to our times and yet sci-fi. Like, what if that would be true tomorrow? And talk about a cliffhanger. At the end of Thunderhead, that is a cliffhanger, you guys. If you read Thunderhead, you'll have to read the toll. And then the toll is the culmination and the whole closure to everything. So it's the most action-packed, I think, and it's also the longest of the 3, still so good. So my favorite would be Thunderhead, the second in the series, but the whole series is really, really good. Read it, it's all I'm gonna say. So next book I want to read by Neil Shusterman is the series called Unwind. Tell me if you've read it. What did you think? Or do you have any recommendation in the sci-fi genre? Now about the journal, for each installment I'm setting up a spread, but I'll also be writing on the next page because I have so many notes and thoughts, so I can't show these next pages because they would contain spoilers. And here I used some of the stationery I showed you in my last unboxing with Journalsay, so all the papers are from there. And that was in fact the fastest I've used something I just received. So I'll make sure I leave all the links to everything you see here in the description. And in case you plan on getting yourself something there, here is my discount code. I am so over the moon with the mini X-Acto knife I got from Journalsay. If you use it like a pen and you don't apply pressure, it cuts perfectly and only through the first layer of the PET tape. So then it's so easy to peel from the back tape. And I got this PET washi tape from the Washi Tape Shop. I also got a code, by the way. And it's so nice, like all their designs are so beautiful, but it's not pre-cut. And this mini knife pen thing, it just makes it so much easier. Next, for my birthday, my husband gave me Pedro Páramo by Juan Rulfo. I said thank you, sat on the couch and read it from cover to cover. And now I'm here to tell you that that was the way to do it. Let me explain. So I love magical realism, and last year I read and loved 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez, who said that he was inspired by Pedro Páramo, so I didn't need any more to add it to my wish list. It was written in the 50s, and it is to this date the most famous Mexican novel, and apparently it's the novel that influenced modern Latin American literature and especially paved the way for magical realism, like single-handedly. So it seemed to be culturally essential, and you can guess how curious I was to read it. It's very short, only 130 pages, and here you follow Juan Preciado, who goes to Comala to meet his father. It's a novel about sin, resentment, and death that plunges you in the eerie atmosphere of Comala and the strange conversations of its inhabitants. It's surprising and very imaginative, and I don't mean only the plot. This style also is unusual. Like, it's a succession of conversations with no chapters and almost no narration to tell you who's talking to who. You just eventually figure it out. So that's why I told you I read it in one day, and I think it's the way to go. His style plunges you in a kind of nightmare. It's not like you can go out of it and reconnect to it on the next day. It's how it's supposed to feel. You're going to feel lost and unsettled. That's the intention. So maybe you hear me and you think, wow, that's not something I want to read. And I get it. If I had known that before, I probably wouldn't have read it either. But that would be a shame. It's so unique, and you can clearly see how it influenced 100 Years of Solitude, Like Water for Chocolate, The House of the Spirits, and so on. So at first I was unable to read it. It's not a nice and happy read, it's confusing and unsettling, but it definitely did something to my brain, like it tickled some brain cells I didn't know I had, and I still think about it, and I understand why it's a new classic. So the 3 stars I gave it, they don't really mean anything. I recommend you read it, but I would read it after 100 Years of Solitude or The House of the Spirits or Like Water for Chocolate, because they all feel like they're more accessible. And now about the spreads. The papers are again from Journalsay, and the stickers here are from Julia and her lovely shop Some Kind Art. You'll find the link to her shop down below, and this is not sponsored, I just love her shop. And it's time for the final flip through. Tell me your thoughts and recommendations in the comments, and tell me what you're currently reading, and leave me this emoji. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next one, and until then, enjoy reading